Hello everyone, my name is Gideon Winti. My colleague named Prankopia, currently doing third year at the Papua New Guinea University of Goroka, undertaking Bachelor of Arts Education. In this video presentation, the topic is school uniforms and student behaviors. Now, school uniforms are the key ways of developing a sense of togetherness among students, teachers, and staffs. But the topic, school uniforms and student behavior, is still one of the most widely debated outside of the schools. From dressing code that improves safety and behavior management. Now, one such tradition is the use of school uniforms. School uniforms hold the power to create a nurturing and respectful environment where students can learn. However, this video focuses on answering the key question in relation to school uniforms and student behaviors. These questions are: what is the concept or principal theory of school uniforms and student behaviors? However, how does it impact teaching and learning? How does it impact the students, teachers, and colleges? How does it impact my students' growth and development? And what are the benefits and the challenges that teachers, colleges, and the student faces as a result of school uniforms and student behaviors? Concept or the principal theory of school uniforms and student behaviors. According to the scholar Bauman and Chris 2016, highlight the studies of students examine test scores and student behaviors in the United States of America, Canada, and 37 other countries to determine whether uniforms affect students' discipline. Thus, modern scholars found that the highest performing students are the most and well-disciplined students. In addition, for some countries that students usually wear school uniforms are found that they behave and listen significantly better. Lower the noise levels, perform well in their academic studies that basically help them greatly in other discipline areas as well. The theory of behaviorism holds significant value as it can provide a statement and take an approach to understand the influence of student behaviors in school and neighboring school community as a whole can influence through transformation. The impacts of teaching and learning through school uniforms and student behaviors. The impacts of school uniforms and teaching and learning is complex and has many aspects of it. Wearing of school uniforms may contribute to more discipline and conducive learning environment for teachers, colleges, and students as well. They can also limit student expression and potentially create financial hardship for some families. Therefore, schools should carefully consider the potential impact of uniform policies on their specific student population and school culture for behavior management. That is according to Todd and Richard 2015. In addition, some studies shows that school uniforms and student behavior has both positive and negative effects or impacts on teaching and learning. The positive impacts are improved discipline and reduced distraction, enhanced sense of belonging and school identity, and positive impacts on academic performance, while the negative impacts are the financial burden on their families, their sponsors, potentially increased disciplinary issues among students and leading to lower self-esteem. However, school uniforms may also foster a sense of unity, belonging, and discipline, potentially reducing social related to patient and improving attendance for the students. Uniforms can also present affordable issues for families, create cultural conflicts, and hinder athletic participation for some students.
School uniforms and students' behavior that impact students, teachers, and colleagues. School uniforms and students' behavior can positively impact students, teachers, and colleagues by potentially improving discipline, reducing distractions, and foster a sense of community and equality. However, some students may feel that their self-expression is limited and there could be concern about increasing cost of their families. That is according to the scholar Winston 1999. The students' behaviors and school uniforms can have an important impact as it is considered and recognized in the school environment. For example, when students' behavior is good and wearing uniforms every day, then it's a positive impact on both students and the teachers who monitor them in their respective schools. However, teachers may perceive students in uniforms more positively and disciplined, while students might experience less social pressure related to the essential impacts, fostering a stronger sense of community. All right. School uniforms and students' behavior that impacts on students' growth and development. School uniforms and students' behavior can positively impact the students' behavior and potentially contribute to growth and development. That is by fostering a sense of discipline, reducing distractions, and promoting more inclusive environment. However, the relationship between school uniforms and students' behavior is complex, and findings are not always consistent. According to Cincinnati 2003, students' behavior towards academic learning and uniforms impacted students' growth and development as it improves the well-being, growth and development of both students and the teachers in the school community or the school environment. However, school uniforms can impact students' behaviors and development by reducing distractions, promoting discipline, and fostering a sense of unity and professionalism, which can positively affect the learning environment and academic performance. Okay, now the benefits and challenges for students and teachers on school uniforms and students' behaviors. School uniforms can offer benefits like improved students' behavior, increased safety, and a sense of belonging for students and the students. Impractical self-expression and financial burdens for their parents. The impacts of uniforms on students' behavior and academic achievement is a subject of ongoing debate and research. That is according to the scholar Cincinnati 2003. However, uniforms can present challenges for both teachers and students. while some believe that uniforms improve discipline and reduce distractions. Others argue and restrict self-expression and can be a financial burden for the students and their parents as well. To conclude, school uniforms are a standardized set of clothing that students wear at school, while students' behavior is the essence and conduct of students within the learning environment or the school environment. Thus, studies shows that students' uniforms and students' behavior has both positive and negative impacts on teaching and learning of students. Students' behavior and uniforms can have an important impact as it is considered and recognized in the school environment. However, students' behaviors and school uniforms can have impacted students' growth and development as it improves the well-being of students' growth and development. Therefore, the 5 questions answered in the main part of this video highlights the importance on how school uniforms and students' behavior reflected on the success of the students. However, as teachers, we should control and monitor the usage of school uniforms and the controlling of students' behaviors so that in this way, the students will have brighter futures. Alright, this comes to the end of our presentation and thank you for watching.